This is going to be Tuesday, September 5th. We skipped Monday because we weren't here because we must have come to school on a Monday. And then we're going to finish out our notes and then get into our first things there. Book report book is due by Thursday. Not the reading of it. I mean, you can start reading it, but you don't have to have it finished by Thursday. That'd be really impressive. Just make sure you show me what copy of the book you have by Thursday. The Magic Lens notes are going to be due by tomorrow, which you can get once again on my website. And the information from there to help you. Let's see. Pasta Bowl to help out with the whole HSE versus Fisher football game. We're doing a big pasta drive with a pasta bowl to see who can bring in the most. And with that, we have the, I'll be offering B points. Every box you bring in gets you 3 B points, up to a maximum of 15 B points. You can bring in more pasta if you want to be a good person. I just cap how many points I'm going to give you. And then once again, we have the digital version if you want it, but we're not going to have to use that here. Ooh. For all of y'alls, except for Marn, who's going to keep writing stuff down, turn your papery one face down, and then we're going to see how well stuff has stayed in your brain, and then go from there. Let's see, we start off with plot, and not looking and cheating, because that would be awful. All right, now Tom?
Wasn't it like...
Would you ask me? I'm asking you. Okay.
What happens in a story?
Good, but now I need confidence, because your voice went up, which means it's a question.
What happens in the story?
Nicely done. So plot, I mean, what happens in the story, the outline. We're going to get our first chance to try and test one out here in just a few minutes. We're going to do a story together, a really short story, and then we're going to see how well you can figure out the plot of it from there. After plot was character, and it's with a definition of character. Lizzie, Lexi? I know. You've slept like 5 times since then, too. But I have faith in you as in the best definition of what a character could be. If the plot is the
Person.
what?
Person?
It does. Does it have to be a person?
No, it can be like an animal or like a thing.
Works for me. Today's story actually has animals as the main characters. There was a word I used as opposed to what that would also work. Kinley? The who. So we have the who in the story. And setting. There are going to be 2 parts to a setting to help us out. Sure, Kate. What are the 2 parts to a setting?
Where the story happens.
Where it happens is half of it, and the other half. It does start with WH, you're correct.
When?
Nice to see you felt strong on that one. The time and the place and when and where. And then we got into point of view and what is going to be our definition of point of view that we're going to have on that one. I feel strongly. No one make eye contact. Jackson. I don't have that. Don't make eye contact. He can't see me. He's not going to. It's all in your heart. It's okay. So Jackson, remember how a point of view works? Not bad. I changed it a little bit, but I like how you went for it. I changed it to instead of who, we have the what, the who, the when, the where. Point of view is the
Why?
good, strong guess. Completely wrong, but you're confident. And that's what I was looking for. It is the how. It's like who, but spelled differently. See, W-H-O, who. Crazy. And then we have, let's see, from the price it, 3 different points of view that we're going to be using. And what are the 3 points of view?
First person, third person.
There's 2 different types of third person. One starts with an L, ends with imited.
Omniscient and...
Starts with an L, ends with imited.
Limited.
Nicely done. I figured that'd be a good hint that gets you going in the right direction. So we have first person, third person limited, third person omniscient. There's another one that we never use, and the one we never use that just comes between first and third is?
Second.
Nicely done. Wait, nice, confident, and correct. That doesn't happen very often. Not with you guys, but with kids in general. That wasn't just attacking you. Kanye. First person. How is a first person story told?
Whenever you say I.
Nice. Well, good. And who is telling us a first person story?
Yourself.
Kind of. Not quite yourself, but I can see why you would say that. Braden?
The main character.
Works for me. But maybe Kanye is the main character of every story that you read, which could definitely make sense. And so here's we have the main character, we have the me and the we and the stuff from there. Luck, Cuck. Thanks for volunteering for the next one. The difference between first person and third person is that in third person it's not the main character telling us. Who's telling us the story instead?
The narrator.
Nice. So then we have the narrator doing it instead. Mr. Singh, In third person limited, how many characters does the narrator follow? Nicely done. And then third person omniscient, Coots, how many does it follow? Works for me. At least more than one. I'm not sure how many all is, but definitely more than onesies. And then we went through, did a whole bunch of examples together. On the first one, what's going to be our point of view? We'll just do it by a show of hands. Once again, we have either first person, third person limited, third person omniscient. I'm not going to read the whole thing out for you to do it, so I'm very if you just glance up there, it's going to jog your memory, even though you've slept 12 times since last week. Great time you say first person. Wait, now you can turn your paper over if you need to look at it. That will guide you a little bit. If you say first person, third person limited, third person omniscient, good job, third person limited. On this one, give you a second to glance, and then first person, third person limited, third person omniscient, didn't vote because we're too tired, been very honest of you. What makes this one first person?
I, me, we.
Nice, so then the I, me, we, and then I threw it in a poem at you, and then for this one, it was the only way to really kind of do this point of view, because it gets kind of tough to do. First person, third person limited, third person omniscient, yay, it's like exercise. In these PE class, when you have this kind of exercise. And then apparently our story got a little weird. I think we got this far with you. On this one, is it first person, third person limited, third person omniscient. What makes it first person?
Because Kanye's in it.
No, but a good try. I understand that Kanye is the subject of every first person story. Owen?
Because it says I and me.
Nicely done. And it talks about Yeezy. Let's see, on this one, did we get to this one? I think we got
No, we didn't.
Have we done this one? I don't know. You've slept 15 times since last week, so.
I think just a little bit more.
I'm assuming you slept 3 times since I just spoke, so that's how things work out.
I pulled mine 3 times. I took naps. I didn't talk.
Alright, so on this one, I'll read it to you. You're going to see, as the student walked up the hill, she realized that the atmosphere was just too quiet. The bunny monster tipped its head back. Oh yeah, I did this because it had that grrr. How do I forget the grrr? So on this one, if you say first person, third person limited, third person omniscient, and let's see, follows the student, third person omniscient. Well done. What? I yelled in my monstrous fury. How do you not have toes? Every person has toes, but now I want to nibble on yours. But the girl just giggled at my words and bounced away. Yeezy! What's this one going to be?
It's going to be the main character first person.
Nice, and even without Yeezy in it, so it'll be first person on that one. Normally I'd have you vote, but I had to taunt Yeezy because it's a Monday, Tuesday. Oh, and this one, the last tricky one I threw at you. As you walk up the hill, you realize that this area is just too quiet. There's no sound from the bunny monster. You know it's almost always hiding at the base of the maple tree. You think you see a shadow move high up on the slope. When you look again, blah, blah, blah. First person, third person limited, third person omniscient, none of the above.
Second
The
person.
second person.
Why do you say second person?
Because it's none of the above. There's nothing left. Process of elimination.
It said like you.
Is correct. Not third person limited or third person omniscient. You silly fools. How could you possibly be tricked so easily? It is second person because it says you. So I just wanted to throw one up there to try and help you out. By helping you, I mean mocking you and helping to guide you. Now, back to filling in notes. Mart, are you all caught up? What a happy day. She is such a helpful person. Theme. Way back when we tried to talk about plot, like a week and a half ago, whatever day that was, you guys kept trying to use something as your example for plot, and I was like, we can't use that because it's close to theme. Now's the part. Do you remember what it was you kept trying to say was a plot?
No.
Maya? Nicely done. The theme is going to be the main idea. It's what we learn. The theme is what we get from the story. The theme does not work the same way as a plot. If I say, once again, boy with scar and friends attacks noseless wizard, that's going to be a plot. A theme is choosing your friends. That's a theme. Or love will help you survive. That's a theme.
That could be any story.
Exactly. That's how a theme works. It could be any story. It just sort of applies this general thing we're supposed to learn. Or it could be more of a moral, a thing that you take away from it. You should never poke a bear with a stick. It could be sort of the theme. Or bad choices. That'd be a good theme.
But that's like every book ever for kids.
Correct, because kids just like to make bad choices. Our next two, let's see what we learned, what the story teaches us, that one. Do you guys know what a conflict is? Just in general, not dealing with short stories, but when you have a conflict. Kiara, how would you know what a conflict is? You ever had a conflict?
With you every day, Mr. Brovicast.
Yes, Kiara, that means a lot to me. Leisure.
The problem in the story, it is leisure.
Oh, I know, but I think it was much more fun. But in general, what's a conflict? Because you just demonstrated one.
The problem in the story.
Getting closer. You're still focusing on the story, just in general. Because we have conflicts here. You and I just had a conflict. Kiara and I have conflicts. Michaela likes to have a conflict daily.
Just on days that end in Y. It's in Monday.
Yes.
It's like when you don't agree with another person.
Yeah, a conflict is an issue or a problem. So it's a conflict is oftentimes a fight. My daughter and I had conflicts all weekend because I kept trying to parent her, and she's like, "What kind of parent are you?" And I'm like, "I thought I was a good one." She's like, "I hate you," and I'm like, "I'm doing a good job." So that'd be the idea of a conflict. And do you guys know what internal means? Just the word internal. Jared? Inside of you, like you have internal organs. And when your internal organs become external organs, you become dead. And so internal means inside of you. So an internal conflict is a problem that's inside of you.
Like when my tummy hurts.
That is a problem inside of you, but that's a whole different kind of inside of you. An internal conflict is when you have a problem inside your head.
Like when you're crazy.
That's also going to be a problem. But an internal conflict is going to be a decision. It's when a character has a conflict inside their head, where they have to do one thing or another thing. It's always written as something or something. Should I poke this bear or put the stick down? Should I ask Mr. Broviak when the homework is due, or just look for myself? Should I attack the wizard who has no nose, or try to hide in a closet? Those are going to be internal conflicts. Sometimes it comes right out in the story, and it's like,
I'm not sure what I should do. I've got this stick and there's a bear. Should I poke?
and it makes it really big and obvious. Other times the kid's just like, "Ooh, look, a stick! Pokey, pokey! Oh no, I'm getting eaten! I have no more!" You're like, well, at some point they had to make the decision, and so you have to sort of go through it. So sometimes it's going to be spoken out loud. Other times you have to figure it out. And then external conflict. Well, internal means inside of you. External means
Outside.
way to play my game. So we still know what a conflict is.
Still when we're gonna fight.
Yep, we're going to throw down with each other. So the external conflict is when you have a fight outside of you. Usually it's when somebody fights somebody else in the story. Written as something versus something. McGregor versus what's his face?
Mayweather.
If you guys picked up my clues already. It's like I got skills. That would be an external conflict. So a battle, something versus something. Michaela versus the slow-speaking teacher. Kiara versus the inability to roll her eyes.
Nope, I beat that challenge every day.
Good job. And so that would be the external conflict. They fight. And like when you get to comp class, they're going to give you generic ones.
Man versus animals. Man versus nature. Man versus...
Man versus food.
So
Right. Man versus, that is a way to pick up on those external conflicts. I'm going to have you do actual things. Don't put man versus nature. Put man versus angry bear. So I know what part. Now you can have man versus nature if he's like outside and it's cold and he didn't wear a jacket. I'm like, there you go. It was man versus self, like man versus his own stupidity.
I should have worn a jacket. Snow was my first clue.
And so you're going to have to tell me what these two things are. The issues on internal conflict. Next to it, you're going to write the word, do not write not, N-O-T, because you're going to end up losing points on quizzes and homework every time you use the word not, because y'all be lazy. This is my Globetrotter detector test. Globetrotters are naturally lazy beings. They're going to use the word not in their internal conflicts, as in,
Should I poke the bear or not?
yep, that's lazy, because poke the bear or poke the other part of it.
Should I poke the bear or not poke the bear?
Still lazy. So you're going to have to go up to two different things. If you use the word not, I'm just going to yell, Globetrotter, at you as an insult. This is like the biggest insult we can possibly give you, being the fact that you're a hero. So I'm trying to help you by you giving yourself a clue not to use the word not. In a moment, you are getting ready to demonstrate this because we have an example story we're going to do. Worst thing in the world. And the last part, the external, you're going to have to write something versus something. So once again, Mayweather versus what, Beardy Face or something like that. You and your words.
Floyd Mayweather.
Maya.
Did I tell you offended my friend
Are they a globetrotter?
on the stars?
Yeah, on the stars team? Because I told them that they get beat with rainbows and stuff like that? Yeah, I know. Well, tell them, when was the last time your teacher yelled at you? Exactly. Did you get beat with rainbows? Alright. Now, I'm going to read this to you. I fit it on one page. Goodness gracious. It was much, much shorter. It was also much, much boringer. So I decided to put some personality into the story. But putting personality into the story made it a little bit longer. It plus is a version, it's a story that you've seen before. I just spiced it up a little bit. We're going to use this as our example. We're going to read the story, and then we're going to go through and figure out the 7 elements. You don't have to write anything down for it, it's just in your brain. On the back side of the paper where it has all those blanks, that's the story we're going to get to tomorrow. But today, it's just you and your brain, as scary as that might be. Alright. There once was a sassy rabbit who thought he was all that in a bag of chips. He would brag to all the other animals in the forest about how much faster than them he was. I've never yet been beaten. Whenever I want to win, I will most definitely destroy anybody who steps up. I challenge anyone in this forest to race with me. A friendly turtle, who had been listening to the annoying bunny for weeks on end, said quietly, I accept your challenge. That's a good joke, said the confident hare. I could dance around you all the way. You're not even worth the effort of a laugh. Oops, waste my effort. Just keep talking, answered the tortoise. Until you've actually beaten me, your words mean nothing. Shall we race? So an impromptu racetrack was created, and the start line was dragged in the dirt. As soon as the owl yelled, go, the hare took off in a sprint and was almost out of sight at once. But about halfway down the track, he stopped and came up with a plan. He wanted to show that dumb turtle just how stupid he was for sassing him in front of his friends. To insult the scrubby little tortoise, he just laid down in the middle of the road and took a nap. The tortoise, meanwhile, plodded on and on. He ignored the rabbit and just did what he did best, walk without stopping. Eventually, when the hare awoke from his taunting nap, he looked up to see the tortoise almost across the finish line. And no matter how much he sprinted and swore, he could not catch up in time to save the race. So that's the story we're going to use. So using that as our basis, we're going to go through and figure out the elements of a short story and see how well we can do the examples. For the plot, we are going to do 5 parts of our plot every time. The first thing we do is the opening one. So what's the first thing that happens in our story?
The sassy rabbit wants to race.
Not bad. This is what I do. Rabbit brags about being the fastest. Then we're going to jump all the way to the end. How does the story end at the very end?
Turtle
wins the race.
Works for me. Rabbit loses the race or turtle wins the race. Then we're going to do the middle. What was the very middle of the story?
Rabbit takes a nap.
I would go, that's probably the 4th one. I'd
The
say
race starts.
works for me. If they do the actual race, rabbit and turtle race to the woods. So then we'll do back to number 2. So what happens between the rabbit brag about being the fastest and rabbit turtle race through the woods? Leisure?
The turtle challenges the rabbit.
Look at that. And then between the rabbit and turtle racing and the rabbit losing the race?
The rabbit takes a nap.
There you go. And that's how we're going to break it down into the 5 things that happen in the story. We're always going to do the first one, last one, middle, and then fill in the other 2 parts. Makes it much easier to come up with your 5 things. Once again, you're not writing this on the back because this is not what we're doing, because that's be ridiculous. Yes? What? Where? The word rabbit? Oh, look at that. That's a different kind of rabbit. That rabbit is so fast that he doesn't even have all the letters in his name, because that's how fast he is. Toads on purpose.
Well, technically it's a hare.
It can be. It's like a rabbit, but just not as fuzzy. Characters. How many characters we have in our story?
4, 3.
Those are all numbers. Now we're going to sort of pin it down to an actual number.
Owl.
So wait. Let's go with, give me one character.
Tortoise.
Garrett.
Rabbit.
I went for the same one. Second character. Kinley. And there is a third character, although it only has a small part in the whole overall story, Kinley. Nicely done. Then, every time we do characters, you also have to have a description of the character, so we can tell it apart from the other ones. How would you describe the hare?
Sassy.
Works for me.
Arrogant.
Works for me. See, I did. Sassy and fast. Arrogant would work. The tortoise is?
Slow. Slow and steady.
You're not going to give him friendly or anything, just slow, huh?
Yeah.
That worked. I put calm and slow, and you guys like, just slow.
Yep, he's just slow.
And then, how do we describe the owl?
Go.
An owl. Make me throw down with you, child. What does the owl do in the story?
Just yell,
Go. Works for me. Starts the race. We have two parts to a setting. Austin, what are the two parts of a setting? One starts with a W, one starts with a W. Nicely done. Don't ask me. Be confident. Nicely done. We have win. Now we have a where. For the win, we only kind of have one at the very beginning of the story. Bryce. Sin.
The where?
I know when, not where.
Oh, it is.
Here's your hint. Every fairy tale kind of starts the same way.
That's the end.
That's the end.
I'm glad I wasn't the only one to pick up on knowing how beginning and ends work. Yeah?
Once upon a time.
Yeah, I just put, it's like a long time ago, once upon a time, just like Star Wars. And then the where, we do have a couple ones for the where that goes into it from
In a
there.
forest.
Dakota, where did it take place?
In the forest.
Nicely done. And then in the forest, we can even nail it down to another location in the actual forest from there. And Lunga, where did it take place in the forest? Were they going around, what'd you say? It's like it's on the wind. Hey, that's the most helpful wind ever. I should definitely get those windows checked. So the where, forest, racetrack. Sometimes longer stories will probably have more winds and wheres, but that was a pretty short story. Ooh, point of view. Was it first person or third person?
Third person.
Wait, no. Let's have a vote between just first or third, just those two. Was it the main character talking to us, or was it a narrator? So raise your hand if you say first person. Raise your hand if you say third person. I agree. Now, okay, then either limited or omniscient. So it either followed one character or followed many. So raise your hand if you say limited to one character. Raise your hand if you say followed many. Best, easiest way to cheat on a test yet. Omniscient, and then followed the tortoise and the hare. Ooh, the theme. What is it our character should have learned in the story? Owen?
Yeah. Slow and steady wins the race.
How so?
I don't know, that's just what everybody
Well, how did it
thinks.
connect to the story?
It connects to the story by the rabbit was arrogant and took a nap instead of just finishing the race.
Works for me. I did the same thing. And you can have more than one, because I'm sure the rabbit should have learned other things other than slow and steady. Like don't be sassy, don't be a jerk, stuff like that. Never bully turtles. And so little things like that. So you can have more than one theme that pops up. Internal conflict. This goes back to our decision-y things that we have to figure out that we're going to be in there. And so let's go with the turtle. Manship, thanks for being brave. The turtle has to make a decision in the story. And what is the decision the turtle has to make?
To stand up for him.
You can't control manship. Once again, you're correct. It does have to be written as something or something. So when the rabbit's getting all braggy, what does the turtle do?
He stands
Don't you try and take manship to answer. He will stab each and every one of you, and I will give him a knife. Go ahead, manship. Or it'd be the same thing. So if he doesn't challenge the turtle, what would he end up doing?
How does the turtle challenge the turtle?
The turtle's he's got a solid point. Challenge the hare, which is like a turtle but less furry. So the turtle has to challenge the race the rabbit, or if he doesn't race the rabbit, what does he do?
Mr. Brovicast, that's not in the story.
You're correct. This requires imagination. So if he doesn't race the rabbit, what would he do, manship? And you can't lose if you don't race.
Sorry.
Same thing you guys did most of the weekend.
Sleep.
Yeah, do nothing at all. So when he sits there and he hears the rabbit being all challengey, he can either race him or just move on and be like, whatever, and ignore him. The rabbit also has to make a decision in our story. Michaela, thanks for volunteering. What decision does the rabbit have to make?
Whether to pack up the stuff and lose points or to sit there quietly.
You're right, that is a decision so many animals have to make. So Michaela, what does the rabbit do? Oh, you're not talking because of that? Well then, that's awful. I'll have to just keep charging you points until I can hear you.
Okay.
Oh. Uh-huh. You can whisper it. My ears are strong. I'm old.
Alright, so the rabbit, I forget the question.
What does the rabbit, because he has to have an internal conflict, so what does the rabbit do? He has to make a decision in the story at some point. So what decision does he have to make? At the beginning, when he thinks he's fast, what does he do with all the other animals?
He is cocky.
Works for me. He gets all sassy and throws down with them. But he doesn't have to do that. What else could he do? That or? Yeah.
Or you go to sleep.
Works for me.
Go to sleep.
I put Tom with a nap or just finish out the race. We're not done yet, kids who kept trying to distract me with your packing up. I have one more thing to cover. We have external conflict, which is the big fight in the story. And what is the big fight in the
The
story?
race.
How do we have to write external conflict? Something versus something.
Rabbit versus.
See, I had faith in you. Ermagert. I'm still not God, dear, but I appreciate it.